Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations, a weekly podcast focusing on e-commerce topics featuring interviews with prominent people in the e-commerce space.
This is E-Commerce Conversations by Practical E-Commerce. I'm Kerry Murdoch. An increasing number of consumers access the internet via mobile devices. This has looming implications for e-commerce merchants who must decide what platforms their customers will use in the future. Third-party services can help owners migrate their sites to mobile devices, and one of those is Mobile Site Optimizer from Cavario, the SEO software and services company. Its creator is Stephen Spencer, Practical E-Commerce's longtime SEO contributor. He joins us today to discuss Mobile Site Optimizer and mobile strategy generally. Well, Stephen, thank you for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Stephen, what is Mobile Site Optimizer?
Well, it's a new product from Cavario. It actually is, its history comes from Net Concepts, which is my previous company that I founded and Cavario acquired last month in January. And what it does is it transforms a website into a mobile optimized, mobile-friendly version that is a very efficient and pleasant experience on an iPhone, on a BlackBerry, on various handheld devices without having to create a whole new version of your site with templates and all that sort of stuff. We can actually, through this transformation process that goes through a proxy server, create these pages, mobile optimized pages on the fly. Basically, it's just plug and play, getting a mobile site up with almost no effort.
Does that work for most any platform?
Yes, it's platform agnostic. It's actually based on a technology that I invented some years ago now, originally called Gravity Stream, and now rebranded as Organic Search Optimizer, and that's another Cavario product. That actually transforms a website into a search engine optimized version when you don't have the IT resources or the ability, for whatever reason, platform constraints, etc., to fix your native website, to go in there and do the major invasive surgery. So that same technology that allows us to do a real-time transformation of a search engine unfriendly web page to a search engine optimized web page is what we use to create the mobile optimized versions.
Let's say I'm a large retailer listening to this interview, and I'm interested in a mobile site optimizer. Does my current site stay on my current hosting environment? Do I have to change to a different hosting environment?
No, you don't have to change to a different hosting environment. In fact, if listeners go to an example here, it would be m.toolfetch.com on your handheld, like I have an iPhone here, or BlackBerry. If you can navigate through the site, you'll see it's very efficient and it's really cut through all the less than essential material. So yes, it'd be great to have links to all your various customer service areas and FAQs and all that sort of stuff, but really, if I'm going to be on a handheld device and trying to place an order, I need to just get in and get out. I don't want to wait for 200K web page to load and then for me to make it the right size so I can read the text, but then I have to keep moving my finger, scrolling down and down and down until I find the right part of the page and then click on that. That's not as efficient, doesn't provide as good of a user experience for that mobile user. If you instead create a mobile optimized version that you can read the text easily, there's not a lot of scrolling involved, and there's not a lot of non-essential information being displayed, and then it's just you find the product that you want, you click to call, and you place your order. So it's pretty efficient.
And the example you cited again was m.toolfetch.com.
Right. So it utilizes our servers, so ToolFetch doesn't have to set up their own additional web servers in their server farm or whatever. They don't have to install some additional boxes inside their internal network or anything like that.
Are you able to say what the pricing model is, or how much Mobile Content Optimizer costs for people that are listening, merchants that are listening to this?
Ooh, that's a good question, and no.
Okay.
One thing I've learned is, as the guy who waves his hands around at conferences and so forth, is never talk about pricing, because then I get kicked under the table by my salespeople. So, off the cuff pricing sort of things. I learned that a long time ago. Don't talk about pricing. Let us handle it, the sales team.
Yeah, good point. So for folks listening, they can go to calvario.com, which we're going to repeat that at the end of this interview, but there's more information on Mobile Site Optimizer there.
Yep.
Changing gears on you a little bit, Stefan, we talk here at Practical E-Commerce a lot on mobile. We're reporting on mobile a fair amount these days. Our listeners are mainly smaller merchants. We do have larger ones listening to this, but they're mainly smaller. What is the future of mobile generally, would you say?
I think there are a lot of moving parts here. There's the iPad coming out, which I think is going to be a transformational event. Some people are saying, yeah, there's a lot of hype there, but no, I really believe that's going to have a large impact on mobile, because mobile isn't just about getting information that you absolutely need to at that moment in time, because if you could, you'd wait the 15 minutes or the 2 hours or whatever it is to get in front of your desktop or your laptop again so that you can get that information 5 times faster. Once you have a larger device that is still very easy to use, but more portable than a laptop, then I think you're going to find that people are going to opt to work on that device more than they normally would, because it is nearly as efficient as working on that laptop or on that desktop machine. So I think that's going to be pretty interesting, and there'll be a lot of devices that will sure compete with the iPad head on. And also there's the devices are just getting so much more sophisticated. Everybody's doing multi-touch screens, and those that have keyboards are getting easier and easier to use, so you can type faster and faster. It's amazing. Some of the folks that I see with their BlackBerries, how fast they can type with their thumbs. It's amazing. So I think that adoption is coming, and it's already starting, but it's going to be much greater. I know you've probably heard this time and time again. Yes, mobile adoption is coming. It's going to be huge, and we keep hearing that and year after year after year, and it doesn't really take off, and you don't have a ton of online orders coming through mobile sites and so forth. But then you have somebody like Zappos with, I think they said it was 1% of their revenue came through mobile devices. That's some serious revenue.
For a smaller merchant, what would you suggest a mobile strategy be? We've heard prices, for example, for developing iPhone apps. We've heard prices that's quite expensive for smaller merchants to develop a freestanding app. A mobile optimized site might be a better option. But for a smaller merchant listening to this, what is your suggestion for them for a strategy for mobile?
Actually, creating an iPhone app is not necessarily cost prohibitive. It takes a lot of creativity to try and find someone to do that work relatively cheap, but there are plenty of Elance type of sites out there that there are iPhone app developers and Facebook app developers and so forth to be found out there working in India, Pakistan, the Ukraine, you name it, and they're reasonably priced. They're not super cheap because the really good ones are full of work. But if you find them and they've got great ratings, you could actually, I think, develop an app relatively cost effectively. Now, that's not to say that everybody should run out and build iPhone apps. It's or apps for their for BlackBerries or so forth. So I think you need to really ask yourself critically, is this something that adds a lot of value, the fact that it's in an app instead of just being on a URL and available in a mobile browser? Because I could imagine some like Cabela's is one of our clients, and I could imagine that an iPhone app or an app for BlackBerry, whatever, could have a real experience involved with it, right? So you could have all sorts of games and utilities and so forth while I'm sitting out there freezing my buns off. I could imagine there'd be some useful and fun activities that would be better done within an app than through a web page. So in that case, I think an app for your BlackBerry or whatever makes sense. But if you really aren't providing that much extra value and it's just as useful as what's on the mobile website, then I think it's a stretch to expect your customers to, or prospects, to download an iPhone or a BlackBerry app, because that's extra work and there's only so many apps that you want to have installed on your device.
Stefan, we have just a minute or two left here. Anything else on your mind for our listeners, e-commerce merchants, as it relates to mobile or as it relates to mobile site optimizer?
Everybody is talking about the iPhone, but in actuality, I think the BlackBerry provides a real opportunity as a platform to look at developing apps, and of course you want to have your mobile site optimized for the BlackBerry, because there are a lot of BlackBerry users out there. It's a very popular platform, and yet there are not very many in comparison apps for the BlackBerry. So there's more of I think a window of opportunity if you create a really excellent application for the BlackBerry.
Well, for purposes of our listeners again, Stefan's firm is Cavario. That's Cavario.com. For those listeners that are interested in mobile site optimizer, there's more information about that product at Cavario.com. And Stefan Spencer, the Vice President of SEO Strategies for Cavario. We want to thank you for your time today, sir.
Thanks for having me.
That's all the time we have for this week's e-commerce conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tune in next week for another new episode.